Hey there, RC Girl here. Today we're taking a look at the refreshed Axial SCX10 III Basecamp. They've made some really amazing changes to this platform, including reducing the price, which is crazy, unheard of nowadays. It has some really cool updates. We are actually getting a storm in about an hour, so we're gonna get some run footage right now real quick. It's freaking windy, it's so windy. In this video, we're gonna talk about all the features, share what's been updated on the chassis and body for the refresh, and of course, give it a run before the storm. Let's take it away. If you are new to the Basecamp platform, it is an affordable pared down version of Axial's SCX10 III. So no 2-speed transmission, you're gonna get a more streamlined chassis, but it's a really great entry-level 1/10 scale, ready-to-run trail truck, or as a base platform for a custom build. So they do also make a kit version of the Basecamp if you'd like to build one up from the base up. The original Basecamp was $349.99 and this one is now $319.99. Kudos to Axial for making this platform even more accessible to more people. This is my third Axial Basecamp. I have the original ready-to-run release, and I also built one up as a kit, a Mandalorian themed build called my Mando Camp, and now this 2024 refresh. Huge thank you to Horizon Hobby for sending a truck out to review on my channel. I will put links to everything discussed in this video in the description box below. I was a bit meh on the original body. It was a little plain, it was a little basic. I really love the additions of the new topography graphics, the bed rack and scale accessories. I think it really takes it to the next level. And also the price point, I don't know how they were able to drop it. Very rare to see prices actually go down nowadays. This is gonna come ready to run, so pretty much everything is included. All you need to pick up is a 2 or 3S LiPo battery with an IC3 or EC3 connector, or an adapter to the connector of your choice, as well as a charger. In the box, you're going to get, of course, the 1/10 scale 4-wheel drive, 12.3-inch wheelbase trail truck that comes with all the electronics. It even has portal axles. We're also going to get a Spectrum STL3 2.4 gigahertz transmitter, including the 4 AA batteries for it, a product manual, some basic tools, a few additional body accessories like these windshield wipers, and a gear set. This gear is used to convert your portal axles to straight axles. So what are the updates from the previous Basecamp? Let's talk about those now. First, it comes in 2 new colors with some updated graphics. I have the white one here. It also comes in a really nice dark slate gray. They've added some decals on the front hood here and the side, as well as the tailgate. I'm a big fan of topography graphics. I think it looks super overlandy. They've also added some really cool scale accessories like this snorkel. You're gonna get an overland rack on the bed. These recovery boards are actually removable, and the storage container even opens. So really nice details there. Unfortunately, no see-through windows on the body. They are all stickers. The body is nice thick Lexan though, and painted silver underneath. This now comes with the Spectrum SR515 receiver, so it is currently using 2 channels, one for your steering, one for your throttle, and you have 3 additional channels to play with. So easy to add things like a servo winch, lighting. We're actually going to be adding some lighting later on in the video from MyTrickRC, so stay around for that. One thing to mention though, it does only include a 3-channel radio system, so if you do want to use additional channels, you're going to have to upgrade your transmitter. They've also refreshed the electronics. You're still going to get the same 40 amp Spectrum electronic speed control, or ESC, with 2 drive modes and 2 drag brake settings that are switchable with the jumper plugs. It's still a 35-turn brushed 540 size motor, but it's now Spectrum branded instead of Dynamite. Not sure if the actual motor itself has changed. And lastly, the servo horn is now the more popular 25-tooth spline instead of the less popular 23-tooth, so hopefully more compatibility with aftermarket servo horns. Now that we've talked about all the major updates, let's dive on in and take a closer look at the chassis in more detail. For our axles, this truck features AR45P portal axles with fully locked differentials. These have molded plastic housings with all metal gears and bearings inside. And the benefit of portals, it'll raise your axles off the ground more to provide more ground clearance for getting over features. The caveat though is that it does also raise your center of gravity. I've found that this truck isn't very tippy, but if you're not a fan of portals, as I mentioned earlier, in the box is a gear set that is needed to convert to straight axles. You'll have to purchase the straight axle set separately. I'll link that in the video description if you're interested. I think it's really user preference. For the transmission, we get the newish SCX10 single-speed transmission. This is compatible with the dig unit if you want to install that. You'll have to purchase that separately, but it is an easy to install conversion kit. Dig allows you to lock out the rear drivetrain, allowing your car to basically pivot in place. You'll also need to pick up a shift servo. They suggest the Spectrum SX108. I have found that it is a little tricky to get the servo set properly to engage dig, but other people really like it. Nice to have the option available if you're interested. For our wheels and tires, these are licensed black Rhino rims. They are plastic. They have a little scale cap here covering the wheel nut. Our tires are licensed Falken Wild Peak mud terrain tires. I actually have these on my 1-to-1 vehicle. The tires are glued on and vented, not the ones on my 1-to-1, the ones on the RC. Really grippy. Overall, I'm a big fan of this wheel set. They seem to have really great performance on the terrain that I was driving on. For our chassis configuration and layout, this truck features steel C-frame chassis rails, nice and rigid for you. We have 2 battery placement options, 1 tray on the driver's side for a smaller shorty pack and 1 at the rear of the truck. The battery trays are adjustable to fit a wide range of batteries. My preference for lighter crawlers like this is running it on 2-cell. I prefer going slower, so I'm using a 2S 4000 milliamp hard pack installed in the rear, but a smaller, shorter pack, something like this 3S 2200 milliamp LiPo, will fit on the side tray. For our suspension, it's nice and plush. This truck features a 4-link rear, 3-link front suspension setup. The shocks are coil-over oil-filled shocks with adjustable preload, a decently soft spring. They feel pretty plush, no stiction there, no leaks in the box either. We have metal links throughout, even up front for our steering. We're going to get plastic drive shafts, nice plastic tube sliders on the sides, and plastic Dumelo off-road front and rear bumpers. There is space in the front bumper up here to install LEDs if you wish. You'll have to pick those up separately. And in addition to our Spectrum Metal Gear steering servo, there are a few optional spots for installing a servo winch on the front of the chassis. Before we give this a run, I installed some lighting from MyTrickRC. At Proline by the Fire crawl event this past September in Apple Valley, California, MyTrickRC released the TrickWhips. These were 2 years in the making, so I'm really excited to finally feature them on some upcoming builds. They're available in lots of different colors. I chose the white one to match the body. They're also fully waterproof. They integrate with their existing lighting controllers and can also be powered individually with the voltage regulator connected to a spare port in your receiver. They also come with the hardware needed to mount them, and there was actually the perfect spot on the bed rack of the Basecamp to mount it. In addition to the TrickWhips, I used double-sided sticky tape to install a few rock light pairs under the wheel wells and a couple pod lights that I zip-tied to the bed rack. All the lights plug into the Dragon controller, which I really like because there are 4 high-powered LED ports and 2 low-powered ports. So you can get really, really bright lights, but also use more scale-looking lighting in the lower-powered ports. They are all controlled using the 3rd channel button on the STL3 transmitter to turn the lights on, as well as toggle through 3 different brightness settings. Next, I'm planning to add some headlights, taillights, and front bumper lights, but since there are no light buckets, just stickers on the body, I'll need to 3D print something for that first. but I think it turned out so sick. I'll put a link to MyTrickRC's website as well as all the lights that I used in this. Basically, you can design your own lighting kit based on the lights that you need for any build. So you can pick a lighting controller as well as all the individual LEDs for your specific needs. The last thing I did before taking it for a run was adding one of my FixRC 1/10 scale pintle hitches. It fit perfectly, it looks great. Yes, it will impact our performance, but I don't care. It looks cool. I'll put a link to these. These are available on my website. All right, let's take it for a run. So after some time with the Axial SCX10 III Basecamp refresh, what do I think? I really love all the updates. I think the body looks amazing. It went from kind of boring to very overlandy. The new body accessories and decal set make the body look less like a toy, so I'm a big fan. I think the price point, $319.99 for all the features that we covered today, I think that is a huge selling point, makes it very accessible for a lot of people to get into RC crawling. One thing that was a pretty big annoyance in the previous version, every time it flexed or you turned sharply, you would hear a rubbing sound from the tires grinding on the body. They seem to have gotten rid of that, which is really nice. One thing I do wish it came with is inner fenders, so you can see through the body, a little bit weird. The SCX10 III Jeep JLU came with really nice plastic inner fenders. I'm curious if those will work with the Basecamp body. They'll definitely work with the SCX10 III chassis. It's just whether they will work with the Basecamp body, so I will check it out. I was also pleasantly surprised with how capable it is. I have driven Basecamps before. I do own 2 other ones, but it just felt really well balanced. And it made it both up and down some pretty steep features, even some off-camber sections. So all in all, really happy with the performance. Tires are super grippy, no more body rubbing. Nice that it's a modular platform as well, so you can choose if you want dig, you can choose if you want 2-speed or portals or no portals. Great too that there's been a kit version available for a while now, so all around a really great entry-level platform for new crawlers, or it's also a really great platform for custom builds. Negatives, trying to think of some bad stuff. I think pretty much just the inner fenders, seeing through the body. Performs well, great price point, looks good. What more can you ask? Want to say a huge thank you to Horizon for sending a Basecamp out to feature on my channel. Huge thank you as well to my patrons on Patreon for helping to make this video possible. Could not do this without you guys. Thank you also to MyTrickRC for the sweet light kit. Looks so good. Cannot wait to put those light whips on some other rigs. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I have a lot more coming. I'm headed down to Southern California next month. We are doing a hobby shop tour. We are doing an event. I'll post all the details on my Instagram and Facebook page. Would love to see you there if you can make it. If you don't want to miss it, make sure to subscribe. Or see you later.